So today is August 14th and I made over $13,000 within the first hour and a half of the trading day, and majority of these gains came from Circle, CRCL, making over 100% on, I would say, one of the easiest trades I've taken in a very long time. And so in today's video, I want to explain to you why this was such an easy trade to follow, why this was such an easy trade to understand, and how powerful simple concepts in the market can be. And I will prove that to you with the real trade, the real entries, and the live recording in today's video, making over 100% on Circle puts. So to start out, here is the Circle chart, and you guys can see this is the 145 level that we played a rejection off of. Still seeing some downside come in, but I just wanted to give you guys a recording of the broker. You guys can see right here about $13,000, 12.9 floating, some runners. This is my account. That's my Interactive Brokers account. And that was the chart right there. We made $13,000 on today. So now let's go ahead and jump into the analysis. So guys, to make this 100% return on Circle today, all I had to pay attention to was previous major levels on the daily chart, as well as previous day's lows. Very simple concepts. Where are the major points on the larger term timeframes, and where are the previous day lows? Very easy levels to mark out, and very easy spots to watch for key reactions at those points. Now, of course, on top of knowing our levels, understanding how to read price action and trusting price action definitely led me to hold these positions and get that runner to over 100%. So let's go ahead and run the analysis here on Circle and talk about what the idea behind this trade was. Now, the first thing I want to talk about are the characteristics of your stock you are trading. So when we think about things, and if you're an active trader and you actually watch what's going on, you'll start to understand characteristics about certain stocks. And so, for example, stocks like Hood, Palantir, AMD, right? These stocks have been very hard to go down. The characteristic has been pullback longs. The characteristic is any pullback gets bought up, and we have to understand that, hey, maybe that's not a stock that we're interested in shorting, right? Because it's showing some very strong relative outperformance. Now, a stock like Circle, we have seen be a pop and fade stock. We have seen every move higher get sold into. We have seen every, big move get totally given back. And so I knew that coming into today that we are on a move that's really weak, that we're seeing a lot of selling. We're seeing basically everything just be given back. And so that was a characteristic that I understood about this stock. Now, I also traded CRWV today, which is CoreWeave, another stock that's been pretty much fading every move, and also a stock that there was an insider lockup period expiration. So today on CoreWeave, insiders could start to sell their shares. The lockup period had ended, and that typically is going to lead to some selling from insiders, and that led CoreWeave to go down, I think, almost 10% today. And you guys can see up on the screen, I made over $4,000 on that trade alone. So overall, just the same characteristics between Circle and CRWV led me to make sure I was looking for downside. These are both sort of stocks that have been trading in tandem, being very high flyers, high retail activity, and we're starting to see sort of the back end of the move. So I was very interested in fading any move higher and also fading breaks under key levels. So as we look at this daily chart, let's go ahead and break down a few things that have happened here that are noticeable. And the first thing is that we had a big earnings move back here on August 12th that fully faded. We pushed up into these previous rejection points, pushed into that 192 level, and rejected the entire move. So that in itself was very telling for me. Now, the next breakdown we can see was under this low here at $171.50, where we faded back under that level. Now, the next level that I was watching was these lows right here at $149. We can see there was a very clear low here before earnings where we started to push back higher, and I wanted to see if Circle could break back under that daily low and create downside towards the gap that is sitting below. So right here, you guys can see underneath 143.50 and down into 134, we have a gap to fill on this chart, which I am very interested in potentially trying to trade. Now, today I've taken all of my profits on this move. I'm still holding some very light runners to see if we can get it, but I'm not expecting it quite yet. We're down 6% today. I don't think it's really correct to be thinking that we're going to get the full gap fill on the first day. So I want to make sure I'm profit taking into that level where we could see some support down at this low right here. If we do, then we'll have to see where the next entry is. But ultimately, I want to see if I can get Circle to fill this gap back to 134.72. So this is my bigger thesis, right? I understand I'm looking for downside coming into today. I wanted to see if we could fail under this low right here to move down into this low on the daily chart from 149 to around 143.50. So let's go ahead and now dive into the short-term time frames and see what happened at $149 per share. So we're here on the 5-minute chart over the last 3 trading days, and we can see here back on Tuesday of this week, we saw a very strong hold at $149. Now over the next day, you can see we basically just sort of held above it, and then today we tested that level once again. Now let's go ahead and go into today's price action and look what happened at 149. Now in classic fashion, Circle did exactly what we expected. We saw a strong bounce off that 149 to start the day that pushed higher, but what did Circle start to do? It faded the entire move higher. So that really got me interested in fading this to the downside. I just saw Circle do the exact characteristic that I've been expecting, which was a pop and fade type move. Basically, all these trap buyers, or really, that morning squeeze is really probably just short covering. You can see short covering coming in and then fading the whole move again. Now we can see that pop and fade, which is a very bearish thing to happen, right? Anyone that chased longs off the opening candle are getting instantly smacked, right? We can see that move did a perfect, and I mean perfect, break and retest of the $149 level right there. We have a clean break, we have a retest, and we have a beautiful rejection that ran all the way to our target of $143.50, where we took majority of this trade off, understanding that there could be some support that steps up. So let's now go into the 2-minute chart and show you what this looked like on the 2-minute. Look at how beautiful our 149 level straight from the daily chart corresponds to intraday action. Understanding major key levels on the daily and trading them on intraday action, knowing how important they are. So look at how a daily chart reacts on the intraday. Support, fail, retest, rejection, right? Add a little bear flag into the mix right there, and you get yourself a beautiful trade and a beautiful downside move on Circle today. That is the break and retest strategy, which is the entry strategy and the price action strategy to find your entry point. And that's also reading and understanding your key levels. Now, the funny thing is, that's not where I entered. I did not enter on the break and retest of $149. I entered slightly earlier. But let me show you where I entered. So where I entered on this play was actually a break and retest below the previous day's lows. Now this is a very, very easy thing to be watching and to put on your charts. And I'll actually go ahead and put the script down in the description below where you can have TOS automatically mark out your previous day lows. And that is this red line running across your screen at $152.15. And so why did I take that entry? Well, I can see that Circle squeezed above previous day low, failed back under it, and then started to turn it into rejections. And so for me, that is a very telling move on Circle. I knew, number one, that Circle is a very clean pop and fading move. I can see now that it is failing back below previous day lows. And so what am I going to do? I'm going to take my short entry and put a stop loss above previous day lows. If Circle can now reclaim previous day lows after failing back under it, then I will accept that I'm wrong. But in this situation, we can see that Circle moved lower, failed under previous day low, started to see rejections below it, and I went ahead and I took my entry. So up on the screen are my entries and exits on this play today. You guys can see that my first entry of the day was at 950 and 955, which was right here. 950 was after we started to reject previous day low, and 955 was actually after we saw another fail, getting more confident after seeing 2 rejections there under previous day low. Now you can see I took my first sales at 10 o'clock, which was right here down into the 149 level. I did that just in case we saw a support bounce off that level, knowing how major it was. So I made sure to take off some profits there. Those contracts went from 360 to around 418 to start. My next sell was 1005 on the big drop below that level, selling at 468. My next sell was at 1006, which was just another sell into this drop, selling at 517. My next sell was at 1012, which was just another scale off into these lows. And then finally, some of the later day sells, 1039, 1048, and 1047. 1039 was here, 1048 was right around here, and 1147 was all the way over here. So I pretty much caught this entire move all the way from previous day low, scaling out here, scaling out here, scaling out down at these lows. A beautiful move that returned over 100% from 360 up to a peak of around 714, which was an awesome, awesome move for us today. Now, a lot of you guys usually ask, well, Desi, how did you stay in this trade? I sell too early, I get panicky, I don't trust it. And so what are some tips and tricks for me to stay in the positions? Well, number one, you guys can see how I scale out of trades. I do this on purpose. I don't do this to to get out of positions too early and to, give up potential profits. Like, that's usually what people say online. You sold too early, you should have held longer. There's a reason for it. The reason is it relaxes you in your trade. When I sell into moves, I stay relaxed. I stay confident. I'm locking in profits. I don't have to worry about a bounce. And when that emotion leaves your body, your tendency is to hold longer. You guys need to understand this about your human body and emotion. This will help you, and it's something that you should be doing. Now, the next thing, and a little tip and trick that you can do, is you can put on the EMA cloud, or on TradingView, you call it the Ripster cloud, and this helps me stay in positions as well. This is the 9 and 21 EMA, and as long as a stock is under the red cloud if I am shorting, or above the green cloud if I am longing, I typically like to stay in some type of a position, and that's exactly what we did here on Circle. You can see that cloud stayed red all the way towards our last exit. So guys, with that said, that is our trade recap on Circle today, using very simple things on the market. Previous day lows, major levels on the daily chart, nothing fancy, no crazy terminology. You just need to know your levels and read your price action. That, at the core of it, is how you are going to be successful as a trader. With that said, I'm now going to include the live trade where you can see when I got into this, how I managed it, and you can see how we did it all live within the Insiders Trading community. And of course, if you want to join the Insiders Trading community and trade live with us on a daily basis, that is going to be down in the description below. Now, before we head out, for you guys that are still sticking around, we do have a free Creating Key Levels webinar on Sunday of this week. So this Sunday, August 17th, there is a free webinar that you guys should be signing up to. If we're going to create key levels, understand how to create a thesis behind them, and prepare you for the upcoming trading week. Make sure to sign up for it. It's 100% free. All you have to do is register down in the description below. I hope you guys enjoy the live trading. Thank you for the support, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out. Yeah, I like that Circle short. I was watching that. I'm with you on that, Fern. Under that PDL. I'm with you on that. I'm going to get into that. I was watching that exact thing. I know exactly why you're in that trade, and I'm thinking about the same thing. I'm going to take that Circle short under PDL, guys. Right here. Circle, again, just a classic pop and fader stock, and then it just failed under PDL. I'm going to short with a stop over that. Okay, got some volume coming into Circle here. Let's tank this thing. How about a tank job today? Little tank job? I'll take a little tank job there. Come on. Tank it. I might take profits here, guys, because Circle could definitely just bounce off that. It's just a random candle. I'm going to take a little bit off here. Take a quarter off into that downside squeeze. Because it could definitely, that's a type of candle that can just bounce right back on in 1 minute. Nice. Okay, if Circle gets under 145, 143 today, this thing's going to get absolutely destroyed. I might try to hold something for that. This could be the day. It's really nice being in stocks that are getting basically liquidated. You can really trust them. Wow. These are going, huh? Core weave circle. Wow. That's it. Day done. Time to play some Battlefield. You're about to see grown men cry if this thing fails under 143.50. I'm going to go down to 3 contracts on circle. It's just holding that 145 up a little bit too much.